it is used over here to create a charge particle having a quite large kinetic energy, and then it is used for certain we can say experiment related to nuclear physics. So these are the applications right now going on in the world. And here how to change that polarity and how to create a strong magnetic field. For that they have used a radio frequency resonant cavity, and that will create a very strong or powerful superconducting electromagnets. Compared to the normal magnets, these are quite cheaper, and these are very powerful. So whatever application we want to have according to the we can say need, we can have a superconducting electromagnet, but definitely right now it is very costly, but in future we will find quite more application compared to the normal electromagnets. This is the image as well as the real picture of LHC experiment that you have already, I think you know that Large Hadron Collider. Before we can say 1.5 year there was experiment. It's right now going on. What are the basic constituent particle of the universe? So we were trying to find out bosons, and in that experiment we were supposed to have a quite powerful beam of charge particle which are moving with a quite high kinetic energy, and when they'll strike with the nucleus, they'll fragment it into a smaller part. Rather than proton, neutron and electron only, they divide them also, and what kind of further constituent elements they are there, that we want to find it out. And in that experiment also they have used CERN is the institute that they have carried out this experiment. They have set up a 27 kilometer circumference big accelerating arrangement, and in that case they were using superconducting electromagnets to accelerate them. Both the scientific diagram as well as the real picture they are mentioned over here, and in that we were having a superconducting coil, and along with that cooling arrangement is also kept within the superconducting electromagnet, so that we can maintain the low temperature below critical temperature, and then we'll get a superconducting wire there, and current passing through those wires, that will create a magnetic field. But obviously you need to remember that current can be passed up to IC only, that is critical current. So up to that we are able to create a strong magnetic field, and that is real application right now going on in a CERN Institute, Geneva. If you go further, this is the third application. So first we talked about generation and transmission of electricity. Second was strong super magnet, that is superconducting electromagnet. And third one, this is also a real practical application, that is maglev, magnetic levitation. Maglev, you know that it is related to the it is attached with the train, that is maglev trains, very fast moving trains. But it's not only used in a train, but in place of those arrangement, we can have in a suspension also, we can have a floating arrangements also, we can make it out with this setup. This is mainly based on a one setup or one principle that you have already studied. When we are allowing the magnet flux to pass through the cross section, then it is going to induce current, but the induced current is also going to create a magnetic field, and that magnetic field is going to oppose the applied magnetic field, and that is called Lenz law. So whatever it is causing, that it is opposing the cause itself. So that was a law, and over here that law is used to create a such kind of levitation. Levitation is a free floating condition of the material on the magnetic field. So here the magnetic how the magnetic levitation is created in a maglev trains, the diagram is already shown. On the right hand side we are having a arrangement where we are going to keep three kind of compartment. One is at the bottom we are having a supporting rail, that is supporting the whenever we keep the train on a track or standing on a track, at that time it is supporting that. Then we are having other two part where we are having a one electromagnetic segment and another is propulsion segment. So propulsion segment, electromagnetic segment will make it floating, and propulsion segment will push it in a one particular direction. So when the arrangement, the whole bogie is kept in a channel or on a channel, then in that case what will happen, the car will have a superconducting magnet within it, and so that we can maintain the low temperature below critical temperature, and then we are having a current passing through that will create a magnetic field. But same way we are having on a track we are having magnets available, and they are also creating a strong magnetic field, and those magnetic field they repel each other, and due to that they'll create a we can say a floating condition, that is levitation. Now if we go further, this is the one example cited over here, maglev train moving with the 500 km per hour. So if you experience, you know the normal experience of we can say 100 or 110 km per hour car or bike moving, but compared to that, if we see this over here, 500 km per hour. So if you want to go from one place to another place, that is 500 km away, it will take only 1 hour to move from one place to another place. So this is quite fast moving trains that they are available in Japan and other countries. Russia, they are also they are having such kind of fast transit system trains available, but in India we are hoping it in future. Okay, the next application is Josephson effect and junction, and from that we are going to get application. But first of all, let's see what is Josephson junction. Josephson junction is a one setup where we are having a 2 superconductor and 1 insulating material. And as you have already studied the transistor, we were having p-type, n-type semiconductor, and we were putting a another we can say PNP or NPN arrangement. Then 2 same kind of semiconductors we were taking, and we were putting another kind of semiconductor in between. So same way here we are having 2 superconductors, and in between we are going to put a insulator or any other material which is not superconductor or non-superconductor material. Then in that case it will show a peculiar behavior, that is called the arrangement is called Josephson junction, and the behavior is called Josephson effect. So for making the such kind of device, as we already talked about, we need to have 2 superconductor and there is an insulator. But if you are putting a insulator non-conducting material, then it should be of the thickness of about 30 angstrom, that is 10⁻⁻10 meter. It's very small, tiny, thin layer we need to put it. As shown in the diagram, you can see that, but it is a very we can say a microscopic diagram or picture. So if we see in a real sense, it will be very tiny, we can say dot kind of arrangement. And if we are putting a conducting material which is not non-superconducting, then in that case it should be of the order of micrometer. It's not very much thin needed there. If it is superconducting material, it's a normal conducting material. Josephson, the name Josephson junction and effect was identified first by the person Brain Josephson. He was a scientist, and in 1962 he predicted the behavior. He has not devised the thing, but he has given idea about tunneling effect and how the current is going to flow through that the insulating material which we kept between the 2 superconductors. So from that idea, or from his we can say dream or the observations, we are able to devise such kind of thing, and due to that only he got a Nobel Prize in 1973. And from his work only we are able to devise one important application or device, that is quids. What is going to happen over here in the case of Josephson junction? Then let's talk about it. When we are saying that the material which is sandwiched between the 2 superconductors, that is insulator or normal conductor, obviously both the things they are going to offer resistance. So when we are allowing the current to pass through the one superconductor, if it wants to go on the other side, that is another superconductor or the other side, then it needs to pass through that insulator material and it is going to offer resistance. But while moving through that gap or that insulating material, a small change is occurring in a, we can say, a quantum level. When the material, the electrons, they are passing through them, the electron, when it will go through the we can say 2 lattice positions, through the 2 lattice position or between the 2 lattice positions, the positive charge, they are shifted little bit, they come closer to each other, and due to that positive charge dominates over there. The superposition of positive charge, that is dominating over negative charge. In a normal circumstances, both the material should remain neutral, but here what happens, the positive charge dominates, and that's why negative charge they couple together. Otherwise the negative, the electrons, they are both are having negative charge, so both are going to repel each other. But due to the, we can say, a slight change or position of the change of the positive charge, the negative charge, they get attracted towards each other and they make a pair, that is called electron pair. If you go in a real theory part or detailed theory part of that, they are called Cooper pairs, Cooper pair of electrons, and these pairs, they are going to pass through that passage very smoothly. So here what happens, the total energy level of the electron, that falls down, and due to that they are able to pass through that insulating material without any kind of we can say resistance or any kind of offered resistance. So the resistance of the material becomes 0 in a normal circumstances when the electron they are forming pair. So this can be understood with the help of we can say quantum theory, but right now it's not a part of the syllabus, and if you wish to go in detail, then you can go through that portion. There are two theories related to that, BCS theory and London penetration depth. Such kind of theories, they are related with the superconducting material. In that you can study this in much more detail. Now what kind of difference it will make when we are passing the current, that thing we need to observe, that is Josephson effect. What kind of behavioral change will occur when we allow the small current to pass through? It will pass through without any offered resistance, and that is normal arrangement occurring. But when we increase the current further and further and further, then it will exceed the value of critical current. When it will exceed the value of critical current, then a small potential difference is created across the Josephson junction itself, and that is also not a permanent one but alternate one, that is going to change with a certain particular frequency. So here we are having two definitions from there. If we allow the current to pass through with smaller than the critical current, then one current, a constant current, is going to pass through or flow through the junction, and when it will exceed the value of critical current, then the oscillating current or alternate current will also appear, or alternate voltage is going to appear across the junction. So from that we are getting two definition. One is AC Josephson junction and DC Josephson junction, but where we are going to use them, and they are used in logic circuit. As we know, the logic circuits, they are made up of transistor, diodes and all that you already studied in 12th standard digital science, or we can say semiconductor physics. So in those cases, if we allow the current to pass through, then it will be considered one state, and when it will offer some resistance and it will show alternate change in potential, then in that case it will be considered another state. So from that we can use it for making of memory of the computers also. So that can be made with the, or if you want to make out we can say a fast oscillating alternate oscillator, then in that case also we can use such kind of junction, and that will create about 500 gigahertz frequency and very small voltage, so that we can use it as a oscillator or clock in the processors. Now, as we were talking about AC Josephson junction and DC Josephson junction effects, so here the definitions are given. If the small voltage is applied across the junction, a small oscillating current starts flowing back and forth through the junction without equilibrating the two sides. This is known as Josephson effect. So here the balance is not occurring, but only the flow is we can say oscillating. It's not polarity is also changing at the two sides. But if the constant current is made to flow through the junction, no voltage drop will occur. So it's as it is superconductor, but here we can remember the effect of insulator is vanishing, and this without any potential drop the current is going to flow. Then this is called DC Josephson effect. So we can make out a distinction between AC Josephson effect and DC Josephson effect. Current, when the current voltage is applied and the current is small, then in that case constant current is flowing, that it is DC Josephson effect. And if it is alternate current or alternate potential difference is created, then it is called AC Josephson effect. So AC Josephson effect and DC Josephson effect, these are the two effects which are used in we can say several application, and one of that application is SQUIDS. SQUIDS, that is an acronym, it's a short form of superconducting quantum interference device. So here the things are not new for you, other than the quantum word only, but superconducting, because we are studying in a superconducting material, the material used over here to fabricate this device, that is also superconducting material. Then interference that you already studied, but that interference was superposition of light. Here we are having the same kind of arrangement, superposition of fields. So superconducting quantum interference device, but it is carried out at very low level or very small magnitude, that's why it's called superconducting quantum interference device. The structure is already shown in the diagram. We are having we can say two junctions available which we are going to join together, and the real diagram is also shown, real photograph is also shown. Here when we are using it, what kind of application we are getting it, because the small current, when it is going to pass through this ring or superconducting ring, then in that case the magnetic field created over here, or magnetic field passing through that will create imbalance in the device, and due to that the small voltage or potential difference will be created, and that can be identified. So we can say have a sense of we can say have a sensor of a magnetic field, but the magnetic field needed over here to create that potential difference or the change in the arrangement, that is very minute. So this kind of device they are used to sense a small magnetic field, and that tiny magnetic field they are created by the heart and brain. So we can use that in we can say medical branches or medicines to diagnose certain problems. We will talk about them, and the applications they are MRI, then NMR, and the MEG also one more application. We will discuss them in a detail next. MRI is one of them. MRI, that is magnetic resonance image. So in that case what we try to do, the whole body scan will be carried out, so that if any kind of problem is there with the we can say any of the organ, then we can identify. For that purpose we need to create a magnetic field. That can be also created with the super magnet, but here we don't need that much strong magnetic field, so we can create it with the normal electromagnet also. But once we create a magnetic field, then if it is the person is exposed with that magnetic field, our body is generally having a water, fat, and we can say blood, and in blood also we are having a hemoglobin and iron. So all these material they start exposed, they are starting exposed with the magnetic field, and due to that they get magnetized. And when they magnetize, they also create their magnetic field, and they get imposed, and resultant magnetic field will create a we can say flux outside, and with the help of squids we can sense such kind of magnetic field created by the body or different organs of the body. Then by sensing those magnetic field, we can have a picture of that, we can have an image of that is showing certain we can say properties or characteristic, and from those characteristics we can make it out a state of the body or particular organ. So with the help of squids, superconducting quantum interference device, we can sense such kind of small magnetic field created by the we can say water, fat, and blood available in our body, which are magnetized with the help of magnetic field, external magnetic field. So we can predict the state of the person as well as disease available. So this is the MRI, which is used for medical applications. But if you want to use it for we can say non-living things or material things, then in that case we are having another method, that is NMR, that is nuclear magnetic resonance, that can be used to identify the material characteristic of the material that we can identify with the help of this